So what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Robert. If this is your first time tuning in. So today, real quickly, it is freaking cold, winds blowing. I think tomorrow's gonna be like in the teens here, so it's pretty freaking cold for us here in South Texas. It's a late little cold front, but yeah, whatever. Anyways, today we're gonna talk about the land market, what we're seeing with land prices, listings, the variances in listings as well. So stay tuned and we'll go ahead and get into it. If you gain any value from this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on this video. Without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into it. So, large land listings, there's been a couple more that popped up probably since I put out some videos. A lot of them did pop up around the new year. A lot of people get a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement. So a lot of people do wait to list until the beginning of the year, fresh beginnings, new seasons, just a plain old new year, so people get excited. So we saw a little bit more listings. We saw an uptick in listings around the 1st of January, in and around those dates. Since then, they've kind of, after that first week or two, they've kind of died down, at least as far as new listings go, especially for large tracts. For us here in South Texas, large tracts are typically 500 acres and larger. I know it sounds like a lot if you're coming from the city and you're looking at this. You think, sometimes 3, 4, 5 acres is a lot, but not in South Texas. Especially once you start getting out to like West Texas, there's a lot of vast land out there. So even 500 acres here is maybe small over in West Texas. But continuing on, 500 acres and more, we saw a little bit of an uptick. A couple more properties got listed here in South Texas. My freaking mouth is cold. But since those first week or two of the new year, we haven't seen too many more listings. We saw one that was like 53,000 acres, which is a pretty large tract of land, especially for South Texas. Those aren't too often listed, especially in that large contingency, or that large grouping, and that large of a tract of land. That's not very common. So what we have seen is a small uptick in small lots or small pieces of property, around 10 acres or less. Seeing a lot more smaller pieces of land, especially those that are in the 1, 2, and 3 acre range. I've been seeing a lot more of those. So competition is getting higher prices, and those are still going up as well. Back in the day, they weren't, I guess, highly sought after, but people have started figuring out that you can split some land up and make quite a bit of money. So now they're just popping up all over the place. We have a bunch of little, I guess, rural subdivisions, if you want to call them that, rural little ranchettes that are popping up. They buy 100 acres, split it all up. You can make 100 pieces of land, 20 pieces of land, 30 pieces of land, list it, and obviously raise the price per acre up substantially for what you bought it from, and that's your profit, that's your piece of the pie. So a lot of people are doing that. I personally don't do it. It just doesn't sit right with me. It feels morally wrong for me to do that. I just really love land. I love large tracts of land, so it just feels like I'm breaking the law if I do that, so I don't do it. But I have thought about it. I know it's an easy way to make some money, and I know a lot on the subject, so I could easily cash in on this if I wanted to, but I don't do it. Who knows, maybe 20-30 years from now, maybe, but right now no need for it, so I don't do it, and it doesn't sit right with me as of today. So hey, we're starting to get some buds. We had our big freeze. We're starting to get some buds on these plants now. Pretty cool. It's nice to see them flowering right there. Kind of getting off subject, but it's starting to flower a little bit. Spring's right around the corner. Love spring. Anyways, so yeah, an uptick in small pieces of land, large tracts of land, 500 acres or more. Haven't seen as many. We've had a handful, I could probably count them on one hand, pop up in my general area in the past 30 days or so. So not really a whole lot happening. Not a lot of properties moving either, especially for the new year, for what I've seen around here. Other parts of Texas, I'm not really sure, but at least for this specific part, not a whole lot moving. There are a couple movements, I guess, moving pieces in the off-market spectrum, off-market area. There are some things happening there, some back pocket listings that are getting talked about and getting shown, things like that. Yeah, there's been a couple in the 1,000+ range acreage that have been sold via back pocket listings. If you're not sure what that is basically, it's not really on the market, it's not really advertised, but the realtor is advised by the property owner that, hey, if you happen to come across a buyer, or you happen to come across somebody looking for, you know, X, Y, and Z, my property meets X, Y, and Z's criteria, go ahead and show it to them if they're interested. So they're open to selling it. The owners of the property are open to selling the property, but they don't really want to put it on the market. They don't want a bunch of people just, you know, coming out on the property and touring it. You know, maybe they have cattle out there. They don't want people leaving gates open. Maybe they still live out there. Maybe they have family that lives out there. Whatever the case may be, maybe they just want to be secretive about it, quiet about it. You know, be surprised, but a lot of ranchers and people who have big pieces of land have a high net worth, and they like to keep things quiet as well. So that could also be another reason that they have these back pocket listings, and they don't want to make a whole bunch of commotion. They just want to do things on the quiet and you know, not start listing things and just kind of throw it out there to a specific type of realtor or specific people that they trust. Hey, my property is available if you happen to find somebody that is interested, right? So we've seen a little bit of those. That's pretty much been about it. Now, specifically hunting land has gone up tremendously over the past, I would say 4 or 5 years, probably close to double, if not double. So it's gone up quite a lot. Most of the people that are looking for hunting land are people like myself, people who are not super wealthy, but want to get a piece of property and get a piece of land. So hunting land for the average folk has gone up substantially. It's kind of pushed people out that, you know, you're not going to be able to afford it unless you happen to win the lottery, or you're just investing heavily into certain assets. Other than that, you're probably not going to do it working a 9-to-5. A lot of these hunting properties, I guess let me back up a little bit. When I talk about hunting properties, I'm talking about hundreds of acres, typically at least 200 plus, to get at least some decent animals out into that property. So 200 plus acres, you're looking at close to $1 million in and around this area, which is, you know, out of range for the average person who works a 9-to-5, or the average worker. It's not realistic. So a lot of people are getting priced out. Again, 200 acres just a couple years ago would have been maybe $500,000 to $750,000, give or take, depending on which specific area you're targeting or looking at. Today, that mark is closer to $1 million. I've been seeing between 800 and 1.2 for that same tract of land. So, you know, it's almost doubled, if not doubled, for a lot of these properties. And then once you start getting into the 4, 5, and 600 acres, again, this is now 2 or 3 million or above. So it's pricing out a lot of people for hunting land, but it's a very popular thing, especially here in South Texas. That's the main reason people buy land out here, is for hunting. So yeah, that's just what I'm seeing, is just a lot of people being priced out. I have a lot of friends who are looking for land, and when they start their search, they don't realize that land has gone up a lot since we were younger and dreamt about buying land. So yeah, a lot of it has to do with, also in this area, there are people, investors, buying these large tracts of land that would normally be hunting land, that are converting it over, splitting it up, and subdividing it and selling it as subdivisions, basically, or small ranchettes, increasing the property's value, and also driving up the prices for the land around the area. So without further ado, be careful, be good, take care, and God bless. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.